Top stories we're covering today. In business, shares of Aldar and Soomro rally by 10% each today after announcing tentative plans for a merger. And the German software company SAP unveiling plans to invest almost $500 million in the Middle East. In sport, as you just heard, concerns over Tiger Woods ahead of the Masters golf tournament as he walks off in the final round of a competition in the United States.
Tonight, in association with HSBC.
Get an HSBC credit card with a free entertainer booklet.
Now, we are talking leadership, and it's a real pleasure to be joined in the Dubai studio by Mansoor Soomro, who is the head of IT reporting and controlling for the cluster Middle East with Siemens, the big German engineering company. Mansoor, it's great to have you with us. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Hello, Richard. Pleasure to be here.
Now, you're in Dubai. You're based predominantly in Karachi in Pakistan, but you're in Dubai giving a talk about leadership, and in particular about a new thought, a new concept of leadership that you've been developing as part of your work with Siemens. You gave a talk to the British University in Dubai yesterday. Tell us more.
Correct. I speak normally on leadership, but since it's been like a year now that I'm sick of this word leadership. I see it as one of the most rotten words in the history of business management. I'm sure you and your listeners understand that it is a cliche. So now here's the catch. Just because you have followers, it does not mean that you're a leader. Because a leader is not just the one who has many followers, but he or she is the one who creates more leaders. So in my lingo, if you're not breeding like that, making leaders out of leaders, you're not breathing. So I see that as a test of leadership. Secondly, the problem that I have with the word leadership is that we don't have a single definition of who a leader is. There is no single universally accepted definition of leader, be it a social leader, political leader, or a business leader. So in that very context, I tried to use the word leadership. I came up with this word leadership instead of leadership. And if I could give you a brief on the word, how the word leadership means, but in this time and age, we have too many bosses and we have too few leaders. And to distinguish, a boss is someone who has a position of authority, and on the contrary, a boss is the one who has authority and who uses that authority to get the things done. On the contrary, a leader may or may not be in a position of authority, yet he or she can have a good say in an organization. So that is how I believe that a boss is different from a leader. And the problem and the irony is that we have too many bosses and we have too few leaders.
So how does this relate in practice to the real world of business? You work for a large multinational company, Siemens, where this isn't just a buzzword. It's real. You know, you have a management job there. You're one of the youngest guys ever to hold a board position within Siemens within this region. So it can't just be buzzwords. It's got to actually mean something on the ground, hasn't it?
It has a meaning, but it is not that concrete. Right. For instance, if we talk about characteristics, we know that a leader has to have integrity. We know that a leader has to be charismatic enough in order to lead people. But we don't see a concrete dotted line on how the word has came in the picture. And different people can have different meaning in using this word. So that is exactly why I use the word leadership. And shape is an acronym. And what it means is to see, to hear, to act, to praise, and to enjoy. So what I see is that if you have these 5 attributes, you're a leader. So see, hear, act, praise, and enjoy. Now, if you could allow me, I can briefly explain how these 5 words are different and how they qualify, and in my view, how they qualify one to be a leader.
Well, you say, for example, we'll go through a couple of them. A leader has to see differently. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what that means is that good leaders see differently. and they see the unseen. Now, that does not mean that they have a crystal ball, but what that means is that they have a different angle of looking at things. And like this, they can see an improvisation in a service that is unnoticed by many. They can see a flaw in a product that goes unnoticed by many. So what they see is that they see through in a different way to strike a different chord. So as is often said, that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
So a couple of others, I mean, you see differently here, act responsibly. What do you mean by that, for example, act responsibly?
What that means is that good leaders are action-oriented. So they walk the talk, they yield results. It's not what you've got, but what you do with what you've got that matters. So good leaders really act on what they say. So this is what I mean by act. And
you relate this, and something else you've written on, and you were talking about at the British University in Dubai yesterday, is that you say companies don't fail, it's people that fail, which is a related issue.
Actually, I recently wrote this article called Businesses Don't Fail, People Fail, and it got published on Under 30 CEOs Forum. Now, this is a forum based in the US that has not primarily the CEOs, but it's like young people doing well globally at senior positions. So since I'm part of that, I wrote this article called Businesses Don't Fail, People Fail. And the basic essence of that article is actually customer service. So what we say is that companies flaunt a lot on the basis of it that there's a lot of customer service going on, but true customer service goes beyond lip service. It goes even beyond product knowledge. It even goes beyond procedures and quality standards. That's not to say that these aren't important components in an overall customer strategy, but the icing on cake, so to speak, is the genuine care factor. So that is how I believe that companies are like falling behind on that.
Listen, Mansoor, if people want to hear more about your works and your writings, I'm sure they can Google you and find out more. Mansoor Soomro of Siemens in Pakistan. It's been great talking to you. Thanks very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Tonight with Richard Dean.